Hello, everyone. My name is Saba, and I am coming back to you with a second installment on personal leadership lessons from The Woman King. Really amazing movie. If you haven't seen it by now, you should see it. If you also haven't seen it by now, there might be a few spoilers in this particular video, so kind of keep that in mind. Meanwhile, the first video was about the general Naniska, played by Viola Davis, a very fierce warrior who rose to become king. And we were able to take a lot of leadership lessons from her life. Today, we want to focus on her daughter, Nawe, played by Thiso Mbedu, and wonderful South African actor, really just plays a fierce warrior herself and goes from being unwanted and valueless to becoming one of the most valuable characters, one of the most valuable warriors in an elite army. Okay, and so and that really spoke to me, because a lot of us are maybe at a place where you're feeling valueless and you're thinking about how can you take your life from that place of feeling valueless to becoming someone who is very valuable to yourself, to the people around you, and to the world, period. And so a lot of leadership lessons in this young lady's journey, but 7 of them I want to really focus on today. The first thing I want to focus on in the movie, when she first comes on the scene, the first thing we note is that she is very intentional about relationships. That is very, very critical. Let me tell you, by yourself, you are able to only go this far, but with other people, collaborating and connecting yourself with the right people, you are able to do exponentially more than you could have ever done all by yourself. And so relationships as such multiplier in anybody's life. It can just multiply your results exponentially. So it's important what relationships you are getting to. We see her in the movie, the first major portion she plays in the movie. She's been given away by her father in marriage to an old man whose first instinct is to really just beat on this young lady. Okay, but she is having none of that. And so she fights back and actually just beats this guy up. And so her father is embarrassed by this when this guy takes off and decides not to marry her again, which can be a big shame in African cultures. And so her father, in his anger, decides to take her to the palace and turn her over to the king. But that really resonates with me and sends a really strong message about being intentional about relationship. Do not be getting into relationships that is not good for you just because society wants you to be in a relationship, or just because of other people's expectations. You get into a relationship for all the wrong reasons with people who do not even really have your best interest at heart, people who are not committed to your well-being. You get into a relationship with those people, you are going to be on a downward spiral. So you have to be intentional about relationship. I think relationship, other than all of the personal decisions we make for ourselves, relationship is one of the most important decisions we can ever make. It can make you or it can break you, especially the person you connect yourself with on an intimate level. Yes, that person can drag you down into the mud, or they can help lift you up and just completely help transform your life with the kind of support and the kind of commitment and loyalty that that person can bring to the table. Your relationship can be a place of healing. It can be a place of upliftment. It can be a place of support and building. But, if you choose wrong relationships, it can also be the opposite. It can be a place where you are betrayed, a place where you are hurt, and a place where you are undermined to the extent that, you are way less than your best self. So we see in this movie that she is very intentional about relationships. She knows what she wants, and she knows what she does not want, and is very clear in her decisions and her reaction to relationships. So we see that she completely rejects this relationship with this older man, but she ends up building other critical relationships in the movie as we go along. She builds a relationship with Malik, and that relationship turns out to be a very valuable relationship that saves her life and ultimately delivers some very critical information to her that helps the campaign. And we're going to go into that later on as well. But relationship, you have to ensure that you understand why you enter relationship, especially intimate partner relationship. Making sure that the person has your well-being at heart. They're committed to your well-being. If not, don't get into it. So that's first thing we see with her, and just getting from where you are to where you want to be. You want to make sure that you are making good relationship decisions. Okay, very important. The next thing I think that is really important here is how ambitious she was. This young lady ambition was clear from the beginning. She had always wanted to be a part of the elite force, the Igoji, okay? And so it's always been a passion in her heart. Number one. Number two, when she finally made it there, she wanted to be so much like her teacher. Azoji, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, she wanted to be so much like her teacher. And so this is someone who aspired to be her best. And then even when she stood in the presence of the general, she expressed how she wanted to be even better than the general. That's how much of a high standard she had for herself. She was so ambitious. She was intensely committed to being more and doing more, and that intense commitment to doing more is what we call ambition. And you can see how the implication of her ambitions through the course of the movie, like it drives her to do more, and we will talk about that later. But it also helps her in her lowest moment to, like when she was captured. It helped her. It helped to put in her spirit that this is not it. This is not what I was going for in life. There is more in life to this. I cannot be a captive. I will not be a captive. I have to find a way to get out of here. That's the thing that ambition will do for you. If you're so ambitious, you may be going through a phase in your life where things are really terrible for you. But your ambition, that intense commitment to being more, will continue to drive you forward day by day with the mind that this is not it. I will get through this. There is more for me. There is better for me. And it affects how you sit with your adversity or with your difficult situation. It affected how she was in that prison cell, because she was in that prison cell, not resigned to her fate, but continuously plotting how she can get out of there, because she knew she did not belong there. She knew that great things awaited her, and she couldn't wait to get out and pursue it. Okay, ambition, man. Ambition was so important to this young lady. You see it every time, every part of the movies. But you can see how ambition will affect you in adversity and in your low moments as well too. So her ambition, I really admire her ambition in the movie. Sometimes it comes out a little arrogant, but at the same time, hey, great people are not perfect, okay? And I want you to keep that in mind. The third thing that I noticed here is that this girl is not just all ambition. Some of us, we're ambition. We have all of this ambition. We say we want to be more. We want to do more. But at the end of the day, we do not put in the work, but she puts in the work. When everybody else is sleeping, this girl is out there putting in extra hours on the fighting field just to learn more as to how to be a better fighter. Now, that extra, doing a little bit more, makes you an extraordinary person. I was just telling someone recently that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is extra. The extra that you do makes you distinguish you from ordinary people. Okay? And so when Everyone else was satisfied with the time, the training time, and when bedtime came, they went to bed. She was not satisfied with the training time. She went on extra training. She went on more training. Imagine if you were to devote an extra hour every day to your craft. That would be 7 hours more than all your colleagues. And tell me how in 6 months' time you wouldn't produce way more than everybody else around you. Okay? Kobe Bryant, one of the things I love about Kobe Bryant, this is part of his Mamba philosophy, is he always did extra. Okay? When his colleagues were sleeping, he woke up 2 hours early and he went out there and did extra. Do extra. It will make you extraordinary. You will be able to meet the quota for the ordinary, and then you will go above that quota easily. So great people do extra. And our Dweh in this movie, that's exactly what she did. She always did extra. When everyone was sleeping, she was training. She was putting in more time, putting in more hours, so that when she showed up on the battlefront, she of course was a much more extraordinary fighter than the rest of her colleagues. So that's number 3. Number 4, her net worth affected her network affected her net worth. Okay, her network affected her net worth. When she hung around people because she knew she could learn something from other people and use what she learned from other people to make herself more valuable. Okay, so when you are building connections and you are hanging around people, the kind of people you hang out with is very important. How much will these people add to your life? And it's not about money, but it's about knowledge. It's about experience. It's about pushing you, people who will push you, people who will challenge you. Okay. And whenever she built network with other people, that network ended up impacting what she did, whether it was her connection with Santos or whenever they mingle with the male battalion, she connected with them in such a way that she learned something from them and she took it and applied it to her battalion, and it helped her battalion to be able to do well. For example, she learned about ballistics from the male battalion. Whenever they were doing drills together, she talked to them and she learned stuff from them, and she brought that back into the female camp. And it was that particular information that ultimately gave them an upper hand in the final battle. Okay, so her network was all about affecting her net worth. The people you hang around, the people you choose to hang around, what are they doing in your life? How are they impacting your life? How are they adding value to your life? It's very important that you answer that question as you choose the people you hang around. Now, you can choose your brothers and sisters, but you sure as hell can choose your colleagues and friends, okay? And when you choose them, you really need to choose them with that kind of thing in mind as to how can my network ultimately affect my net worth, okay? And so this is one of the strategic connections she made as far as relationship. It ties into the first point, but I wanted to separate it because the first point was more about intimate partner relationships, whereas this particular one is much more about professional and personal friendships and things of that nature. And then the next thing I see here that was so heartwarming and such an amazing leadership trait is that she cares so much about other people. It was incredible that even in a critical race, when she was ahead, she looked back and she saw that some of her friends were, one of her friends, her colleague, her comrade was not making it through. She turned back around. She went and she helped that particular person and pulled them out of the situation they were in, so that that person can continue to move forward. That was incredibly compassionate on her part, such a team player on her part. And you cannot go from where you are to where you want to be unless you can be compassionate about other people, unless you can be a team player, because what that does for you, it really helps you add value to other people. And those kind of value added to other people build admiration and respect for you that will return back to you in ways that you wouldn't expect. We also see her disobeying the general order, just to stay back and assist the general when the general was left alone to fight the general from the opposing army. She stayed back to fight him because she saw a whole horde of men just coming towards towards the general to join in this one-on-one battle that the general was engaged in. And she was like, no, I cannot leave the general behind. She stayed behind when the rest of her colleagues were fleeing. She stayed behind. Her quick thinking was went into action, and she was able to cut the rope that was holding the gate, and the gate just stopped, came down, and prevented these guys from coming out and joining the fight. That quick thinking really helped to buy the general time, and so she really, her compassion made her to put herself in danger. Because she was a team player, she put herself in a vulnerable position, just to save the general. Of course, the general reprimanded her later on for her actions, and we all saw how that played out, because the general was wrong, but just would not admit that she was wrong. But at the end of the day, it really demonstrated how selfless Dweh was, and that selflessness really helped her to go from where she was to where she ought to be, because ultimately, like I said, when you pour into other people's life selflessly like that, it inspires other people to put themselves on the line for you when you actually need them to do it. And so it builds loyalty in other people. It builds an opportunity for reciprocity and all of that kind of good thing. So that's very key, that she really cared about other people, to be able to put herself behind, to put herself in a vulnerable position, to be able to help these people to get forward too. For her, it wasn't just about her winning. It was about her winning, but other people winning with her. Man, so key. I was just moved by that. And now you see that in that kind of person, they're not just self-leaders. Those people are leaders, because other people will put themselves on the line for anybody who will put themselves on the line for them. Really incredible. Number 6, your sad story is not unique, okay? So yes, she was, when she first became a part of the AGOJ, she was sad. She was so really just completely disoriented by her past. Like, I've been rejected. I was rejected because I was orphaned, but now I was also rejected by my foster father, and so that really just had her disoriented. She didn't even know what to do. It had her in her feelings, and she was really stuck on that fact, and she couldn't open up and really embrace the new opportunity that she had before her. But Izogi, who was her trainer, and oh man, even I would say her therapist, let me tell you, I think Izogi didn't only show this girl martial skills, how to fight, but Izugi also kind of like really helped to bring her psychological healing. You need people in your life like this, people who will not just be your professional mentors, but people who can psychologically help you to navigate. And so, but they had this conversation, and Izugi was very clear to her that, listen, don't be hung up on the sorrows of your past. To tell you the truth, you are not the only person who've had such a sorrowful past. I had the same sorrowful past too, but I had to get beyond that. And I had to deal with that. I had to look for a way to navigate my darkness and find sunshine in life. She actually kind of, used other terms, but that's what she really meant. And so, when now I heard that, it touched her. But Izugi didn't only admonish her to do so, but Izugi was also walking with her to do so, because always her playful demeanor towards her, and just drawing her out, taking her on walks, and just talking to her, was able to help her to come out of that dark place that her past had her stuck in, and open her up so that she became more playful, and more more engaging, and more able to open herself up to the present opportunity that life was presenting to her. And so you have to understand, first of all, that your sad story, the trauma that you went through, the terrible past that you have experienced, it's not unique to you. Whatever disadvantage you have, it's not unique to you. There are other people out there who have also endured similar past as well. And these people overcame those pasts. You need to seek those people out and hang around people like those. Do not be misery-seeking company. Be trying to seek the company of overcomers. People who've overcome the things that you are going through. Those people will show you the way, like Izugi was able to show her the way to overcome her grief. And sometimes you may not find those people immediately, but find books. For whatever your condition is that's holding you back, whatever your problem is that's holding you back, Google it and see autobiography on people, or leaders who had such problems, and you will see those leaders' name will come up. They have autobiographies. Buy those autobiographies, read those autobiographies. It helps you to understand that you are not alone with your struggle. Other people had it too. But those autobiographies will also teach you how they overcame, and it will equip you with the tools to overcome yours. Your sorrow is not unique. So stop wallowing in your sorrow, and do not allow your sorrow to stop you from advancing and becoming all you show up here to be. Okay? And my final point is that Nawa pushed herself very hard to win. And this is very, very incredible to me. The portion of the movie that really showed me that more than anything else is the portion of the movie during the competition when she climbed up on that high wall, and the other girl was at the bottom of the wall on the other side, and this girl would win if she didn't do something radical, if she didn't push herself to get ahead of this girl. And Nawa decided at that point that she would push herself. She would do whatever it takes to win. And she jumped from that wall looked like it was 10 feet high. Yes, something she had not done before, something she wasn't sure about her safety in, but she jumped that wall anyway, and that gave her an advantage over the other girl who was already close to the bottom. It gave her advantage over this girl, and that's how she won. That advantage helped her to win. My question is, how hard will you push yourself? Okay, now, of course, you don't want to put yourself in danger and, end up killing yourself, in the process of trying to win. But hey, listen, I would rather die trying to be successful than to be unsuccessful. Okay, I calculate all my risks, but I take risks. I take big risks, but I calculate them as much as possible. There are a portion of your risk that is incalculable. Okay, you cannot calculate it. It's a blind spot in risk taking, and sometimes you just have to go on blind faith and just trust that you will be guided when that particular portion comes. Okay, but you have to take those risks, and so. Do you want to win like this girl who wanted to win so bad that she was able to jump off a 10-feet wall? What's your 10-feet wall? What sort of big leap do you have to make in order to give you that competitive advantage and put you in a position to win? You need to make that jump now. Take risks. Listen, the people who sit on the bleachers oh man, they will all become casualties of this whole thing we call life. The people who take the risk and get on the field and play hard are the people who win. Okay, spectators never win. It's comfortable to sit on the bleachers. It's comfortable to sit as a spectator and watch the game and criticize the game. But to jump on the field, it's risky because you risk failing, you risk fumbling, you risk messing up, you risk being ridiculed. Listen, what are you willing to risk today to get you over the edge? What? You got to take some risks. And this young lady was willing to take the risk. She was willing to push herself hard. Okay? If you will make significant gains, you have to push yourself hard. Push yourself. Do the extra. Do the thing that you've never done before, because you will never become the person you never were unless you push yourself to do the things that you've never done before. So those are the 7 lessons that I learned from Nawa, this young lady who went from valueless to becoming the most valuable soldier in that movie, who she went from becoming an unwanted child to a celebrated warrior. Who will you become? These are 7 lessons from Nawa's life. Review these lessons, see how it can help you go from where you are to where you need to be. Continue to live a great life. Thank you.